summer evening, and it sounds like a song. I want more berries and the summer feeling, so wonderful. Breathe me in, breathe me out. I don't know if I could ever go without. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if I could ever go without. Watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar strawberry on a summer evening. Baby, you're the end of June. I want your belly and a summer feeling. Getting what's beneath you. Breathe me in, breathe me out. I don't know if I could ever go without. Watermelon sugar high, 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 watermelon sugar high. I just want to taste it. I just want to taste it. Watermelon sugar high. Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds like a song. I want your belly and a summer feeling. I don't know if I could ever go without. Watermelon sugar high, 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 watermelon sugar high. I just wanna taste it. I just wanna taste it. Watermelon sugar high. I just wanna taste it. I just wanna taste it. Watermelon sugar high. Watermelon sugar.
Keep going. We're letting more viewers know.
Come and move that in my direction. Let's go for that, such a blessing, yeah. Turn every situation into heaven, yeah. Oh, you are my sunrise on the darkest day. Got me feeling some kind of way. Make me wanna savor every moment slowly, slowly. You fit me, tell me love how you put it on. Got the only key, know how to turn it on. The way you never lie my ear, the only words I wanna hear. Baby, take it slow so we can last long. Tú eres el imán y yo soy el metal. Me voy acercando y voy armando el plan. Solo con pensarlo se acelera el pulso. Oh yeah, ya me está gustando más de lo normal. Todos mis sentidos van pidiendo más. Estoy que tomando sin ningún apuro. Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que me acuerde si no estás conmigo. Despacito, quiero desnudarte a besos despacito. Firmo en las paredes de tu laberinto, y hacer de tu cuerpo todo un manuscrito. Sube, sube, quiero ver bailar tu pelo, quiero ser tu ritmo. Que le enseñes a mi boca tus lugares favoritos. Déjame sobrepasar tus zonas de
Key4 up. What's up? How you doing?
I'm really about to show y'all why we need to move out of America. Look at this. They're selling lion chops. They're taking exotic animals and cutting them up and putting them in our local grocery stores. Look, I'm in Safeway. They're putting lion meat in the fucking grocery stores. Lion meat. I'm really about to show y'all.
Lion meat. Freaking lion. No stranger to the troubles at my door. I've been at the wrong place at the wrong time, chasing all the wrong things most of my life, and every kind of loss that you can't find. But I got one thing right, been the kind of guy girls mamas don't like, running with the wrong crowd on the wrong night. I've been wrong about 1,000,000 times, but I got one thing right. You. Those patient while I change. Never even crossed your mind to walk away. When I was getting crazy, reckless and wild, acting like my mama's little neverless child. It took a heart like yours to find its place. I've been at the wrong place at the wrong time, chasing all the wrong things most of my life, and every kind of loss that you can't find. But I got one thing right, been the kind of guy girls mamas don't like, running with the wrong crowd on the wrong night. I've been wrong about 1,000,000 times, but I got one thing right. You. I got you. I got one thing right. I've been wrong about 1,000,000 times, but I got one thing right. I got one thing right. I've been at the wrong place at the wrong time, chasing all the wrong things most of my life. Every kind of loss that you can't find, but I got one thing right. Been the kind of guy girls mamas don't like, running with the wrong crowd on the wrong night. I've been wrong about 1,000,000 times, but I got one thing right. Hi, Veronica. How's your timing, Rob?
It's just us, justice, I think. I've actually been on for I think like 4 minutes or so, 5 minutes, so maybe about 5 minutes. There was somebody else on there, but they ain't hang out long because I'm just jamming and reading documents. They don't know that, like, I kind of go off of just anybody who wants to ask me a question. I just answer questions. They might be suppressing the distribution of announcing that I'm live due to the content. It's very possible. Because normally it gets, 70, 80, 300, 400 people get notified real quick, but I don't think it happened this time. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either. So, I have seen some ASMR girls. They'll actually make a video saying I'm going live soon or I'm going live now because they have so many followers that it kicks in that everybody sees it and goes right over to the live. Yeah, there's a lot of them. I haven't been cruising TikTok as much as I normally do because most of my time is now spent helping and answering questions for people. But it's like so much easier for me to talk on my live than it is to try to sit there and type on a little tiny little keypad because I got like giant hands and but we'll see what happens. Breach settlement. I don't know how to play with a sticker to do stuff. What I do is invaluable and needed. We have to stand up for it. Absolutely. It's all about self-government and responsibility. Nobody wants to govern themselves. And that's why we're at where we're at. How would you go about removing personal information in the credit bureau? So most likely it's not personal information. If it's in the credit bureau, it's most likely public information. And if you're referring to the U.S. citizen, then that is a publicly owned and traded corporation. And all of its affairs are public. You as the human, you can tell them to remove it, or they have to pay you money. That's up to you. You can pin stuff to the page. Yeah, I've seen people pin stuff, but I see interact. I see host link, guess. What is this stuff? Comment, flip camera, mirror, gift, support nonprofit. I don't know about stickers. Lightning QA, poll, quick poll, draw on guides. randomly choose topics. Oh, I see a sticker. I doubt they're gonna have a... Oh, here we go. Free your mind. Ha 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 ha. You're making my Oh, it didn't work. I put a sticker on there that says free your mind, and it's not like allowing me. It didn't allow me to put it. Refuse to delete. Yeah, like I said, it's public information. Are you trying to clean your credit up? Trying to like get rid of like stuff that you're straw man? For all of what, Big Coons? Like which subject? Most likely commerce. Everybody talks about commerce. Yeah. So, in order to get the credit cleaned, you should first satisfy all of the debt obligations that the U.S. citizen incurred against his credit, and then you can go after the credit companies and tell them that to remove it, or you can come after them. So being a sovereign, there's like the Bible's a good book to figuring out how to be sovereign. We're all already sovereign, and learning how to make treaties, learning how governments contract with each other is good. Because when you're talking about governance, you have to kind of mimic what the big boys do on to an extent. You don't have to use the same words, but it's a good idea to understand how to do treaties and pacts and how governments contract with each other. That really gives you a good kind of round basis on understanding how to be sovereign, make declarations and decrees, and make your own wax seal and signet ring, and you can have a crest, a family crest, or your own design you can come up with to seal and stamp things. Put red ribbons and wax seals on envelopes and stuff, and stamps are good. Stamps are backed by gold. It's like real currency that you can sign through, that you put on a document that gives the document value, and charge-offs from debt collectors. Yeah, debt collectors will come after your credit. The best thing to do is put them in a contract that says, basically like if you try to harm the credit of the U.S. citizen, then coming after you. That usually stops them dead. But nobody knows how to start these things. Once the debt collector reaches out to you, you need to do a debt validation letter and basically tell them, if you try to infringe or harm the credit of the all capital name, you're going to be liable in your private capacity, or notice to agent is notice to principal, notice to principal is notice to agent. Yeah, debt collectors are annoying, but it's so easy once you learn how to just respond to them, because that's their job. Their whole job is to try to get money off, collect people's bad debt, which most of the time when someone doesn't pay the actual service provider that they receive service from, they're not going to pay much to a debt collector. I have before. I've paid debt collection. I always try to stay honorable. You don't want to be in debt. But they can take you to court if you don't respond, and they can liquidate. They can have a judgment against you, and they can start coming after your stuff. And that's service providers don't do all that. They don't care about trying to come after your car, or your house, or your bank account, or nothing. Debt collectors can, once they get you in a contract. They get you in, you're silent, you stay silent, they serve you notices, they've created a contract, they can liquidate on it in court. And now you've got the full faith and credit of the United States coming after you at that point, which we've established. The debt validation is sent to the debt collector. You want to first start with the source and validate the debt. Then once you get them a contract that says the debt isn't valid, then thank you, Veronica, you're so awesome. Then once you basically get them a contract says the debt isn't valid, you can liquidate, you can tell them basically like, don't come after my creditor, I'm coming after you. And then once you get them in a contract that says the debt isn't valid, then you now have proof. You can go to the credit bureau. You have to have a contract. You have proof. Then you can go there and say that the debt doesn't exist anymore. Please remove it. But you have to satisfy the. What do you mean they keep updating account? All you have to do is send them a debt validation letter, notice of interest, notice of default, or notice of default, opportunity to cure, and then notice of default and declaratory judgment on them, and then you have a judgment. So, but you have to get them in a contract. How do you evade Texas? What does that even mean? How do you like? You talking about like avoid Texas? You can live in the Republic of Texas. I know apparently the news is saying that the Republic of Texas doesn't exist, but you can send mail in the Republic. So, if it doesn't exist, then how can you send mail through the Republic? Plus, Article 4, Section 4 says there's a guaranteed Republican form of government to every state. Oh, taxes? Yeah, no, the IRS will tell you if you do nonprofit, you do not have to pay taxes. So if you try to do for-profit activities, according to the creditors of the United States, you're going to have to pay taxes. You're trying to claim equity? That's cool, man. That's the highest form of law. That's where so Republican form of government is a equitable type of thing. You want to talk to the judge in the private, especially if he doesn't have his robe on. You want to get him out of the black robe. Evade is to not respond after owing. So if you owe something, tax avoidance is not illegal. Evasion is. You got them backwards. There's ways to avoid being taxed. I mean, it's just simple. You're not. We hate losing all this money, but they simply tell you straight up, you're not taxed on who you are. You're taxed on how you do business. That's all that matters. I just got a message. How can a person of nobility run for office? I've sent it to Experian TransUnion and the Bureau's update saying that. So you have to get the credit collector, the debt collector, into a contract that says the debt doesn't exist. Then you can go towards the credit bureaus. You can't do it in reverse. You can't go to the credit bureaus and say, "Oh, the debt doesn't exist," when the debt collector has proof that the debt exists. Yeah, it's Paper is the best way to do private, and also move the court into a private setting. When you control the court, you can move them into a private setting. You don't have to do stuff in the public. Speaking of that, I remember somebody wanted me to send them something. Glad y'all reminded me. I just saw that they're like serving lion meat in the grocery store now. That's weird. The black robe is like it's the church occult, like kind of it's symbolizing the priest that's there to collect the debts and the tithes from. Or how do you move them? You have to basically tell the judge, say like. Would it be wise to discuss public matters in the private? And then also how you carry yourself. So you can do all this great paperwork and stuff, but the judge is going to watch you. And if you don't know how to handle yourself, if you're fumbling, and then he knows your friend Johnny actually did the paperwork, it wasn't you. If you don't know how to stand on it, that's why I don't help anybody like do the process for him, because if you can't, I can write a freaking private administrative procedure on a bar napkin and enforce it in court. But if you can't, then what's the point of me giving you the bar napkin? How do you sign documents? I sign documents in the all capital letter because I want, that's a limited liability corporation. I don't want full liability. If you want to take full responsibility for a document signed in your private capacity in all lowercase letters, if you want limited liability signed in all capital letters, I learned that from the IRS. Death. Debt is death. Yeah, you can DM me. Thanks, Veronica. Yeah, I heard David Straight. So, and actually, I just learned about that today about David Straight. He's combative, which is not smart or wise at all. I didn't like any of his state national rock representatives. Though they're come from, they don't allow you to stitch their stuff. I was going to stitch them because they're preaching bad stuff. And then if you watch my traveling or travel versus driving videos, you will see that there's a lot to it. You can't just take your plates off of the car and then start traveling. There's a lot to it. You have to give notification to the jurisdictions you're traveling through. You have to own true title to your car. It is suggested to have plates very, very similar to the locale that you're driving through. And then you also have to have a fee schedule, and all these things. And you want to have a properly authenticated license through the Secretary of State, and you can have a passport helps. And there's a lot to it. It's not just hop in the car, travel, and that's actually how I started releasing a lot of this knowledge, is because people were going to get hurt trying to listen to this girl called Bree Divine. She was like, you don't have to have a license to drive. You can drive to work and go engage in public commerce for profit. That's basically what she was telling people. And I'm like, you have lost your rocker. Like, you're telling people to go engage in public commerce without a license. Y'all are going to jail. Like, that's not how you work. So David Straight most likely, even though how learned he is, he most likely didn't notify all of the municipalities and jurisdictions he's traveling through, letting them know, giving fee schedules out. He knows how to go after bonds and stuff, and that's why I was trying to tell y'all there is no do not detain list. Like I said that in my 4 Doors video. They're going to inspect you. They're going to check you out, and if you're polite and you're kind, and I heard his wife had a gun on her in different places. Like I don't do none of that stuff. Like you can't. It's just their job is to protect the highways and roads. But a private message. Sorry, I gotta go back. But a private setting means they can do whatever they're interested. No, judges, trust me, judges really want us to be responsible. They want us to take responsibility for what has gone on and be self-governing. Now, they have to protect the public. They don't want all the sheep to know that it's all an illusion, it's all a game. But once you figure out how everything works, it is the Wizard of Oz when they open the curtain and there's just one man back there pulling all the levers and stuff. It's just smoke and mirrors. And once the judges and the lawyers and everybody are to protect the public and the system that is at bay. That's why you want to have a plate that is somewhat similar to local municipalities. You don't want to have a giant neon sign that says I'm above the government, and you can just like drive around with guns on you and stuff like that. Like you're going to jail, you're getting hemmed up, and they can. It won't matter if you try to say you're not a U.S. citizen. They'll bring in a parade of idiots, aka your friends and family, that will point at you and go, "That's a U.S. citizen. That's a U.S. citizen," and then you're done. You've basically got, even if you prevent giving up jurisdiction by not admitting you're the U.S. citizen, they'll bring in friends and families and say you're a U.S. citizen, and that's good enough. No, I've gotten very, very well. Just I am like at last 2 weeks to cram, Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to try to learn all that stuff. You should come over to Telegram and join our very active, motivated, informed W4 open mic chat. Awesome, man. I am on Telegram. I just most of my time is spent either with my kids, work, or helping y'all out. But I don't mind speaking and stuff for people. Yeah, it's when you're talking about David Strait's acolytes in court. So a lot of the stuff that I have done is not what a real sovereign, like on my last video, that's not what a real sovereign would do. That's just a way to really trip them all up in the public. That's not really a good, honorable way to handle yourself in court. But you can definitely enforce. That's for a public. So what I was speaking about is when you're coming in the public and you're trying to move the public the way you want, the best way is to do it in the private. You don't want to be in the court handing out W-9s or making statements like that, but you can, because we can say on and for the record whatever we want. Whatever is done outside of court is considered hearsay. So that's why you got to be careful. We are friends. I'm going to drop you down. 10-4. The girl is wrong to say that. Oh, yeah, she was wrong to say that. So, to get in the private, the only true way to get in the private is you have to use an agent or a corporation with an agent to interface with the public. No matter what you do, you have to have somebody interact with the public who is a corporation, who is dead and bankrupt, and they can only interact with other corporations. Now, you can be a solvent corporation like the post office. That's a solvent corporation. That's like one of the only ones I know of. Other than the BRICS nations, I'm hearing now the BRICS nations are all using digital currency backed by gold. You don't authenticate your license. You create your own national or own sovereign ID, and you have it authenticated through the Secretary of State by having a notary put a seal on it, and the public can see seals. So you just make sure any of those legal processes you put in a box so you don't give up jurisdiction on the document. And you basically want to say you're just using the notary for identification purposes, not for not giving up jurisdiction. You're not giving up jurisdiction. How do you hold the ball while conducting business? I have no idea what that means. Hey, what's going on? What's the difference between the post office versus the postal service? That is a very good question. One of them is U.S. RAN, and the other one is the sovereign entity. So just like the United States of America is different than the United States, is different than the sovereign republic states. They're all different corporations. I'd have to go back because I'm not super big, but I just learned recently that the post office has its own bank. It has its own cops, and I've known it's solvent, and you can set up your own post there. But I never did that because a post office box is a non-contracting venue. You are not allowed to set up treaties and do stuff like that through a post office. So I started to open up like a sovereign entity's postmaster general's post box, but I found out that it's a non-contracting venue. So you can't really. Oh, I see that pinned up. You learning how to pin. 13 seconds. You can be an agent to the all caps. We already are an agent to the all caps names. You don't need a power of attorney. We've already been given permission to be the authorized representative for the transmitting utility, which is our bankrupt franchise U.S. citizen. I meant on. Hi, by the way, Queenie. I meant on my criminal case claiming equity. How can I get the judge in private besides ask? You have to move the court in private unless you do a private administrative procedure in a sovereign Republican jurisdiction, and then you can put it in through a letter rogatory, which is going to be on my next Sovereign in Court Part 4 that I'm doing. I just haven't yet. I've been putting it off. Yeah, see, as soon as they have me in the room, me, Ball, they do and say whatever, and greed comes. So no, unless if you get the judge in private and he takes his robe off and he switches the venue from admiralty into common law. Remember, you can invoke any jurisdiction you want. You can come from common law. You can come from equity, and you can come from admiralty. Now, if you want to learn these things, then start looking up how a chancellery. Start looking up lawsuits in chancery or lawsuits in chancellery or equity. Like, it'll show you how to form and style things, how to properly make paperwork. I'm trying to fight back to the flood of my ghost. And repentance of sin. Okay, that's a new one. I've never heard an acceptance and repentance of sins. The line you sign on the check. Yep, the authorized representative. What do you mean by who, Queenie? Who authorizes us to use their property is the state. The state created the U.S. citizen, the bankrupt entity, and they allow us to do a lot of things. There's benefits and privileges to using that limited liability bankrupt franchise. You can discharge debt in the public. You can claim 1/10 of the estate in the private. Like, they allow you to do a lot of stuff with that entity, or you can create your own. You can dock it. You can set it tied up to the dock and not use that entity at all. I know people that, spouses that get supported and they're out of the tax system. They're completely private because their significant other pays for everything they do. Just like my kids. My kids are out of the system. Like, I'm paying for everything they say and do. They're not engaged in public commerce. I will teach you. Can you not utilize the postmaster as registrant for an entity to accept service deposit? You are the postmaster. So you make, receive, collect, mail, and enforce mailing. So you are the postmaster, especially for the Republic. And registered mail is a federal public benefit that you don't really want to use. You can send mail privately in the Republic for 3 cents anywhere in America. You can use the green certified mail, which I believe is international. You don't have to. That's for between states. You can use that. If I claim my name, what about how they attach a debt to it now? I'm saying that's mine. You can't claim the name because you don't have true title to it. The true title belongs to the state. You can show... Now, how court cases work is you can... whatever evidence you bring in the court stands. If it doesn't get rebutted, it stands as a fact in that case. So, I mean, you could bring in a bunch of paperwork that says that you own it, you blah, blah, blah. And because the judge's job is to protect the public, most of the time he won't tell you straight out what you're doing doesn't make sense. And sorry, sometimes the judges will let you get remedy, but it's just because they feel sorry for you, and at least you're trying, that you're attempting to self-govern and understand the systems that are at play. But like everybody else, you just have been led astray. All the way from the hood, seeing that. Hi, Kimberly. I started going through those videos a lot. I definitely want to do some cleansing. I actually had someone tell me I need a parasite cleanse because they said that my eyes looked a little dark and my tongue looked kind of light. And they said that meant I needed a cleansing. So that's why I kind of started on trying to do that. What's your say on UCC 1308 before signing? So UCC is private copyrighted codes that is owned and controlled by somebody else. I always suggest using just the words, not the code. If you do use the code, put the code inside of a box so that you don't give up jurisdiction to your signature. But what's cool about UCC codes is that is information and knowledge that the public corporations, public corporate officers, and all the public entities are bound by. We're not bound by them. The public corporations are, like our U.S. citizen, like the U.S., United States, the officers and stuff like that. It's cool to know the codes like CFR, IRS, USC, UCC, stuff like that, because they're bound by it, but it's private copywritten stuff, just like Federal Reserve notes. Or like somebody told me fern, they're ferns. Could you elaborate on how House Joint Resolution? So House Joint Resolution got repealed, and I think its new remedy, because whoever causes the harm has to produce the remedy. The new remedy is 12 USC 411, I believe. And how it basically works is they said that they took all of the lawful money backed by substance to pay debts with. So when that happened, they said they can't specify what form of currency they're going to accept on any debt obligation. And the Treasury said that they would, originally they did a slow dance. First they took all the gold and they gave everybody certificates of gold certificates that was backed by gold. Then they did away with those and was like, look, if you bring us a debt, we'll discharge it dollar for dollar. Hey, how you doing, bully dog Glaxton? Use I missed something. Use a USP form that has a certified form through Postal Service, and it makes the postal worker serve. That's cool. The judge will say you have double speak. The judge can say whatever he wants. He works for you as long as you don't have. You didn't give up jurisdiction. If you're in the private, if you do a letter rogatory, you don't have to appear, but you always want to do a general, not a general appearance. You want to do a special private appearance. Special private priority. How do we tell London we want to be free and self-governed? I imagine it's the same way you do it anywhere. Is basically you make a status declaration of what you want your status to be known on Earth, and then you can mail that out to everybody and get proof of service, proof of non-response. Say this is who I am. If your records say something else, let me know, and then you can establish a record. Always good for use registered and certified mail when engaging in lawful matters. Yeah, I always suggest, so registered is good for federal, and I had a guy telling me that there's two different federals. There's like a really good federal, which is what everybody wants to be under, but I'm like, I don't know about that. But you can use a port pass. You can, as a national, you can get a port pass, a national port pass. It looks exactly like a normal port pass, and if you want to get out of the actual continental United States that the federal government is claiming false jurisdiction over. So then how do I waive the liability to the name that isn't mine? Who are you trying to waive the liability from? Because you're already not the corporation. You're not a corporation, you're a human. And you sound crazy when you go around saying, I'm not the name, like Wesley Snipes did. You just look crazy. You can't, nobody thinks you're a freaking stack of papers. Seems scam worthy. Which part? And if it's not, I don't want to be liable. All rights reserved. That's right. You can sign any way you want. Restrictive endorsement on any document. Rights reserved. That's because they was spraying fungal and planes of chemtrails. Yeah, I believe that, and I've also heard there's a way to vaccinate populations. They have a patent on vaccinating populations through chemtrails, through aerosol injections, and they say it was only done in a local place, but I don't think so. It would not surprise me if they've been spraying vaccines all over the world, because I know they're spraying something. I don't know what it is. I've seen jets go over, and then within 2 or 3 hours, everything's clouded. But I don't. When I first started learning about chemtrails, I thought that they were just creating a substance in the ionosphere to allow HAARP and other technologies to radiate easier off of to control the weather. I thought they were trying to cool the earth down, but then I noticed they would spray when it was cold out too. So I don't know, and it's hard. I don't know who's doing it, but they use planes that look like, I've seen somebody zoom in on one and it had FedEx, like a fake FedEx painting on the bottom of it. So it looks like it's a legit plane, but it's like I don't know who the heck it is. Yes, it is impossible to teach all this stuff. What species of currency? The Republican forms of government can only trade in gold and silver coin. I suggest pre-1933, and always $21 when you're dealing with stuff, because that puts it in international. And through lettuce as well. What the heck are you talking about, buddy? Through lettuce. Not all afternoons. I just recently, when like work is just a little slow, I'll go live. Try to help people because it's easier to talk on here than it is to try to type to all of y'all. No, judges are not ignorant. They are very, very well. Oh, judges are very, very well all in the know. They know that you are not a corporation. They try to get you to submit to being the corporation because that's what they actually have jurisdiction over, is the corporation. They don't have jurisdiction over the human. Yeah, I think you can get both. I think you get the card and the book. It's just like a check mark when you're doing your but there's a special way to apply as a national when you get your passport or your port pass than trying to do it regularly as a U.S. citizen. It doesn't have to be notarized. It has to be look up exceptions to the hearsay rule. So anything done outside of court is hearsay, even an affidavit. I know an unrebutted affidavit stands the truth, and it's very powerful, especially if it's been proved that the other party bringing a claim, because you got to remember, the judge looks at both claims, whoever is bringing what. So if you have proof of service to the person arguing with you, and you bring that in the record in the public, that has a lot of weight to it. So you can bring that in. If one wants to find out the lawful way to discharge, where do we start? You can watch my GGT process and discharging debt. All about bonds. Yep. Is there a legal way or a lawful way for us to discharge debt? So it's a public benefit. I don't do it. It's a public benefit as a U.S. citizen to be able to discharge debt according to 12 U.S.C. 411. You don't have to. A lot of corporations suggest using good old Federal Reserve notes. You're welcome. I'm going backwards, and I'm like 21 freaking. Post stamps are monetary. It's a debt obligation of the U.S. When you sign through it, it creates a debt obligation to the United States, and it gives value to a piece of paper. They actually, back in the day when they used to use wax seals and stuff, they used to put stamps on paper. I've seen a lot of them, especially when they're doing treaties and stuff. It actually gives creates monetary value to the document. All right, let me go down. How many of these did I miss? Hey, thanks for sharing, bro. Appreciate it. Not finding the states. I did not find in their state. Oh, I didn't mean to invite. I do that all the time. I didn't mean to invite you. I did not find it in their state. So does it count as mine? I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about your U.S. citizen. It's not found in your state. Let's see. Did I do good? Let's see. All right. I'm sorry if I missed y'all's questions. Try to go back some. Nope. How do you get a passport if you have a rule against with CSP? Child service. Yeah, so there's like two or three different charges that they will not allow you to leave the country for. One of them is not paying child support, and I think the other one is like if you have an FTA or something. There's like two of them. Like like a warrant for murder or something. Like there's a couple things that they won't let you leave the country with. Yeah, you can do a Form 56 fiduciary on judges, but there's no such thing as involuntary servitude, so they don't have to accept. How can you make a company send you a paper bill? You can contract with any service provider however you want. Most of the time they want Federal Reserve notes, but you and anybody else can contract in gold, which is outside of U.S. control. You can contract in labor, you can barter, you can trade, you can gift, you can do all these things that put you outside of their jurisdiction. Document or motion you would file as challenging the whole thing. Private administrative procedure would be what you'd want to file, which is an agreement between the parties. What you owe child support? I don't know. I would pay for your kids if you have kids. None, you can't apply this to law. It sounds great though. None. You can't apply this to law. I don't get what you mean. So do you announce in court to get out corporate law? So do you announce in court to get out of corporate law? You want to bring in whatever jurisdiction that you want the court to be in. Concealed carry laws, all that stuff only applies to U.S. citizens. It's not in accordance with the Constitution. What purpose does what serve? What about filing trust with the Secretary, the SEC? I don't get what that means. Filing trust with the Secretary. Judges are masters of contract. Yeah. How do you make me not the paper they are looking at? How do I make you not the paper they are looking at? I don't get what you're saying. You're not the paper that they're looking at. Yeah, vax through spraying has been possible for quite a while. mRNA in the lettuce. Yeah, I know. They're putting it in everything. They're putting it in animals. They're putting it in like. It's starting to get a little worrisome that they're putting the mRNA in everything. It's like it's never been about health, because they never tried to vaccinate homeless people or Congress, and then they turn around and now, they're spraying it in the air. They're putting it in vegetables. They're putting it in animals. They're forcing people to take it in other countries, and it's like, it sucks. It's scary. Nanotech, yep. Amazon and FedEx, you're right. Yeah, they spray in grids. A lot of times they'll spray in lines and do this. It's just more efficient. Just like if you have a robotic lawnmower, it's they know how far the trail will disperse, and everything uses GPS. They have automated stuff, and they can set up grid lines and stuff. You look on the plane trackers and stuff, and you can see perfect little zip zops. Yep, I've heard that blood of non-vax and vax are all shown the same now. And some people, and I heard a guy went to a place that studies blood, and she said everybody has it, and they tested his blood, and he didn't have it. So that was the only outside source contradicting that I've seen. Do you send a copy of document or send an original? You want to send a copy, but you have to have a notary. You have to tell the notary sign in a box that's not giving up jurisdiction, that it's a true copy, and then you send you keep the original, because that's what sovereigns do, is they keep their original documentation. You send the actual copy with a notary seal on it that says it's a real copy. Alright, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to start at the bottom and go up a little bit. Sorry if I missed you. Can't I take that to court and get a port pass? Take what to court? Farmers admitting now they have been vacationing their cattle, vaccinating their cattle with mRNA vaccines. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. I'm vegan and been vegan for 5 years maybe, and yeah, it's kind of scary when they say they're putting it in all the animals and stuff. What is who reading? Me? If you're talking about me, I'm reading the screen. All these questions. My trust was stolen from me, judges, lawyers, doctors. Everything's through consent. So I don't know what you mean. G minor 8. Yeah, we're all in the matrix. That's why it's very important to have a good foundation on spiritual beliefs, because this natural body is going to die. And you can die daily through sacrificing the animal we've been given, the flesh and its desires, or you can just die that one time and live as an animal the entire time and not wake up, But I suggest trying to die daily. But like I said, this is all temporary. This temporary realm and this temporary light, the false light, the light of the two eyes, is all temporary. At least use the correct you are. Yeah, I do all kinds of shortcuts, especially when I'm talking and texting. Like I'd rather just type the letter U when I type U, or LOL instead of laughing out loud, or but it's real funny, the UR. There's so many people that have grammatical errors in their syntax. Like actually all of our language is improperly. If you want to actually start talking about proper way to write, look up David Wynn Miller, and you'll find out that nobody is speaking in the language of the living. Alright, you must have been further up the list than what I could see question-wise. Maybe. Yeah, I'm sorry if I skipped y'all, because like sometimes I can't keep up. Like I had 25 messages, and sometimes I stay on one person's question too long. Alright. Question: if you're a sovereign citizen, so that sovereign and citizen is an oxymoron. You can't be sovereign and a citizen. You can say you're sovereign, you can be a national, you can be a Muslim, but you can't be a sovereign citizen. That's an oxymoron. Social Security is a federal benefits program that makes you a federal employee. Actually makes your U.S. citizen a federal employee when you use that federal benefits program. Yeah, it's in the vegetables. It's in lettuce. They're putting it in things to try to get everybody. And at the same time, there's companies there's people fighting. Trust me, I know it seems like we're losing, but this is a spiritual warfare. It's a commercial warfare. It's a natural warfare, and there are forces that are fighting against the forces that are trying to put us into a complete totalitarian lockdown digital matrix. They forged your documents. That sucks. If you gave them a power of attorney, though, then they can do that. Oh yeah, please do. Please watch my videos. I suggest watching my playlists, starting with foundation, then nature, then spirit, and then commerce. And that will unindoctrinate you a pretty good amount. After you get back AOR back and record it. Affidavit of rescission. So I don't know what David Straight's teaching with an affidavit of rescission. I know that you can send an affidavit when you're doing. They want proof that you're not a U.S. citizen, but I don't know about rescission off a conch or whatever. I don't know what wow means, Kimberly. mRNA is being put in vegetables. It's being put in lettuce. We were just talking about how it's being sprayed in the air through aerosol injection. They have patents on it. It's being put in cattle, and it's being put in lettuce. So it's like almost unless you grow your own food. And then they wanted everybody who... It's interesting that they wanted everybody who grows their own food to register and let them know. So they're like... They're trying to come after everybody with this stuff. They want everybody to have altered DNA. And it's crazy. It's nuts. It's like a freaking sci-fi. Like, are all nationalities considered citizens? No, not all nationalities. There are republics that are. So a national is a corporation that is not a citizen. Citizen means cities in. It was basically a way of a status back when towns and councils were getting bigger and they turned into cities. You were a citizen. You were one of the citizens. But our corporation is a citizen. Our U.S. citizen is a corporation. Can you go over the process of discharging a traffic infraction, point by point? There is a bunch of great ways that you can deal with a traffic infraction. You can... as soon as you get a traffic ticket, you can immediately go to the courthouse and with a witness is better and come to pay immediately, and they'll say, oh, it's not been registered, and you can say, well, this commercial offer says pay on or before, I'm here before, and according to international commercial law, if you don't accept payment right now, which I'm offering, the debt does not exist. And I have a witness with me, by the way, so either take the payment right now, or we're going to do a certification that the debt was the payment was refused and the debt does not exist. So that's one way you can do it. or you can appoint the clerk to set it off, or you can pay more. So if your debt was, let's say they charge you $100 for a ticket, you could send them $121, and when in a money order, send them a money order and say it has to be a prepayable offense. In my state, there'll be a checkbox that says this is prepayable. You can pay online or whatever. Prepayable offense. Give them a money order extra. Send them the money. They'll mail you back the excess money. Never cash that check, and it's all about accounting. And then that account will forever stay open, and they can't close it. So you got options. Apply at the post office. Yeah, you can apply at the post office. I need to ask you something, but it's longer than this. How can I send you? There's a way to DM me, and then I try my best to answer everything. So I have a Telegram too, buddy. I don't use it much though. I have a couple groups. So can actually do the remittance process. Yeah, you can send remittances into you want to send it to the Secretary of Treasury, the alien property custodian, which somebody told me that they have a different title now, but they're still there. Parking ticket. So you got to be careful. You got to choose your battles, right? So the car actually belongs to the state. Okay, when you register your car, it's their property, and a lot of people want to fight and say, I don't have to have insurance. I don't have to, have a license. I don't have to. But it's their property. You're using someone else's property. I know how to travel sovereignly, like apparently better than David Straight. But I don't own the title to my car. The state does. So I've never gone down that trail. So until you own the true title of your car and you have all of the stuff in order, you're going to have to pay a parking ticket because according to the owner of your property, you were parked wrong. You can send it to the Secretary of Treasury to discharge if you want. The alien property custodian who deals in enemy property. What do you think about apostille authentication? So if you're just trying to of your documents through notary services, I mean it's very powerful. The public can see public seals, so it's very important to understand what the public can see and interface with. But yeah, they can see public seals, but you just want to make sure you don't give up jurisdiction when you're doing that stuff. I don't have a video on UCC3. I don't suggest using a UCC form unless you're going to click UCC3 is an addendum to UCC1, I believe. It's just a property list. The UCC1 is a very powerful financial instrument that banks use when they lien your property up. Which number one, you better have an agreement between the parties, both creditor and debtor, on that instrument. I operate in trust. Trusts are more powerful than the creditor-debtor world. You want to learn trust law. Everything's in trust. Any signature on a contract can be rescinded within 3 days. That is correct. You have 72 hours according to international commercial law to rescind any signature on a contract. After 3 days, you have to do an addendum or an agreement with new terms and conditions and guidelines to try to get out or into a different contract. Collie buds, yeah. Special Secretary of Treasury link, I think, room. Yeah, that might be where the alien property custodian is. To get the true title to your vehicle, it has to be a brand new vehicle, never before registered. You can never take anything out of their jurisdiction once it is registered as their property because it's collateralized against the U.S. debt, the bankrupt entity. It has to be a brand new car, never before registered, paid, no liens on it from a bank, all cash. And then you have to tell them you're taking it out of the country. And they'll give you the MSO, and you have the true title, and it's never been registered. And then you want to put it in a trust or something, or and then it's suggested to find some type of insurance if you want. You don't have to, but if there's an injured party, you want everybody to be whole. I I do not have a YouTube. I just have a bunch of TikToks. Like I didn't want to use my face. I didn't want to use my likeness. I wanted to only use my voice. And I started on Truth Social, putting out stuff every day, but nobody really, I had one follower after 6 months, and then I was on TikTok just making goofy videos, and then some girl was getting ready to hurt people, telling them they could travel or without a license, without doing all the stuff that I've told you about. And then I was like, screw it, I don't care, they're trying to kill everybody, I want to help y'all, whatever, here's my face, here I am. But I just have TikToks right now, and then I help people through private means. Queenie, you want to read Weiss's Concise Trustee Handbook. It's very, very powerful. Trust law is the way to go. This is called Stick Figure. It's like a white dude that sings reggae. The best way to learn trust law is Weiss's Concise Trustee Handbook. It's a good starting foundation. But there's two types of trust. There's implied and expressed. You don't have to inform the beneficiary there's a trust. Trust is implied if you're doing actions like taking a public benefit. It is presumed that you know all of the, that's why everybody's like, oh, there's not full disclosure. Yeah, but you're using public benefits. It is presumed you know. That's one of the maxims in law is if you're going to be engaged in commerce, it is presumed you know what you're doing. You should never engage in commerce if you do not know what you're doing. So it's common law, admiralty, and equity. Chancellery and equity are the highest forms of law if you want to study those. And then if you want to learn about sovereignty, you got your government contracts books, how to make treaties, how to make pacts and decrees, and you can create your own seals and stuff like that, like they used to. Back when people had the knowledge of kings, but they were dirt poor. Now we're dirt poor, and we don't have any knowledge. At least we used to know how to do stuff. Valid way to get non-citizenship status is to do a declaration of status. You can keep it or mail it out or just say it in your heart. It's up to you. I thought I already spoke on the traffic ticket like a bunch of different ways to yeah, I'll check my text. The coupon process, I do not have I have a video on GGT process. Maybe that'll help you if you want to watch that. Yeah, that's how I started with Bree Divine, the girl you said might have flagged me on one time. Oh no, I started in Truth. You talking about Truth Social? Yeah, I wasn't going to use I didn't want to use my image because people get hung up on natural light and natural realm and natural bodies and nature so much that seeing my image is all they can associate instead of what the value is. It's just like a separation thing. But I went after. I was gonna make. I wanted to make videos and just use my voice. You should get on the Mattermost. I don't know what that means. You're welcome. You said once, get to a certain point when dealing. One of your other videos, you said once you get to a certain point when dealing with lawful matters. I don't know what that means. Did I miss another message? They make you sign a not. Oh yeah. Once you go through the DTC to protect the public, you got to remember these judges, lawyers, sheriffs. They're all protecting the public. They swear an oath to protect the public. And one of the things, the public is bankrupt. The public is crazy too. They have to protect that system. Because if everybody knew what was really going on, there would be a revolt. If they knew how money really worked, there would be a revolt. Have you seen people that riot off of just somebody calling somebody a LGBTQRS or whatever the thing is, and everybody just like flips out and like they burn stuff and they go crazy. So to perpetuate the the status quo and the order and organizations that we all have set up slowly, they have to protect the public. And so when you go in court and you start talking this sovereign stuff, they don't like it. They want it. You have to say something like, is it wise to discuss public matters in the private? And he'll ask you to sit down, and and if he says sit down, you could say, would you like me to sit down? And then he knows he's dealing with somebody, and trust me, he looks forward, the judge or her, they look forward to dealing with somebody who's self-governing, because he deals with sheep all day. So he'll ask you to sit down, and then he'll just fleece the next 40 people. Then the public is kind of out of there somewhat. You're still in the public. Then he can play a game with you. He can see if he can get you under his jurisdiction or not. And if he can't, then you can move him into the private, and you can settle and close the matter as the authorized representative. You can do all kinds of things. Corpus Juris Secundum. Yeah, it's expensive. You can find downloadable versions of things. Google, since Google and like what else? Google and Facebook, and they're all like working together with like the CIA and the government to like create digital versions of all of us, everything we do. They have slowly moved away from allowing people to find good factual stuff. Like there's a way on Google that you can actually roll back the clock, because, and I'll give you an example, on the vaccines, there used to be so much knowledge and information out about shedding. When you get vaccinated, you can shed that virus to other people. And right before they rolled out the mRNA technology, Google started whitewashing all of their sites to be able to find that stuff. So there's a way to roll back the clock on the search engine to like 2008, 2010. If you look up shedding on vaccines, you'll find all these articles on it. But that just goes to show you, and there's a lot of other things that show when you use Google, it's all tailored and kind of set up in a false way. I appreciate that. Is equity the same as trust? Equity. There's equity in trust. Trust law splits title. So you split title between a beneficiary and a trustee. So the trustee has the legal obligations and duties. The beneficiary has the equitable title. That's what the state does. The state takes the equitable title and is in the control. You want to be the beneficiary. You don't want to be the trustee. But right now they switch us all around to being the trustee who's in charge of all the duties, fees, and obligations that the beneficiary wants. And then the other party is the grantor, the settlor, the one that puts property in. The grantor is the one that creates the trust, starts the trust, and is able to control the contracts if they... Cool. Appreciate you guys for the gifts. Trust law is very confusing. It is. But like I said in my other video, it's very simple. Like I could hand you a pencil and I'll say I'll be back in an hour to get it, and if you accept it, we just started a trust. Trust originate verbally first, and actions. You implied through your actions, you expressed that the trust is on. You didn't like throw it at me or try to stab me in the neck with it. Every time you post a video, I feel incredibly stupid. Keep making them. All right. So what you're saying is you want me to keep making you feel stupid. Where do I start with a summons? Summons is for the dead. You summon the dead. You're not the dead. You can appear special, private priority for that. You don't want to appear generally for a summons. Alright, I'm going back down. Sorry if I miss you guys. Sorry. I love you all. Yeah, DuckDuckGo is good, Queenie. And there's another one. I don't remember it though. But I do use DuckDuckGo too. But a lot of times it's the same thing that Google finds. She's a time bomb. In a sense, happening already so much. Yeah, it's really good to learn all this stuff. Go straight. Yeah. Treasury direct accounts. Yeah, that's they tell you in the Treasury code that if you don't claim your minor account, your minor estate, then you're still considered a minor. All right, let me go back down. Let's see if I missed somebody because it's going to spread awareness.
No matter who you are, being yourself.
Yeah, it is good that everybody's being aware. Can I put my case in my Express Trust? You can put any property in a trust, but if it's not true title, then you're not really transferring the property in there. But there's rights, and like you can put your house in a public trust that is owned by the corporate state that you're in, and according to their codes and statutes and public policies, there's enforcement that can be done. Like there's benefits to using a publicly owned trust.
Unless your doctor tells you to. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
What about doing a foreign? Ooh, I saw something about a foreign trust. Sorry, gotta go way back. Yeah, dude. You want to put not for hire on your car if you're going to use a U.S. dot number. The Lion one. Is there a book you can buy to learn all this? No, there's not one book, buddy. I am the book. I am the living book that you're going to learn the stuff from. I've been studying nature for 40 years. I've been studying spiritual stuff for 26. I've been involved in it for 26, but I didn't actually start learning it until 13 years ago. And then I've been studying commerce for 10. Nature, spirit, and commerce. We're all learning nature. However old you are, you've been learning it. I am not for hire. I do not charge anything. I am free. Start page, yep, that's a good one. Tusk. Why do you say Tusk? If you make the judge your trustee, are you able to get money paid for going to battle? You don't ever want to go to battle, my man. You got to understand something. The public servants that we have hired to enforce the public policies and codes and statutes that we have created are here for a good reason. And if you try to battle anybody who has tanks, machine guns, airplanes, aircraft carriers, and missile rockets, launchers, and stuff like you, good luck. Like you, I mentioned that on one of David Straight's Patriots. They were telling you had to be at battle and at war against cops in order to get your rights. I said, good luck on that. I said, buddy, that goes against everything that I have learned for 13 years. Being at battle. You want to be at peace and in harmony all the time. You got to remember that police are just people like you and me. Some of them have authority issues. I've seen a lot of different cops. Some cops are pretty cool. Some, it's just like people, you know. Some people suck. It just is what it is. We're all amazing though, you know, like it's just some people are very selfish and they're not, you know, they don't care about anything because, I mean, maybe they're going through a tough time, but cops are just people. You treat them and talk to them like your mom. You treat them like your brother, like they're you, because they are you. On a spiritual realm, in a spiritual sense, we're all one. We're all in this together. Naturally, yes, our bodies look different in the physical false light, but spiritually, we're all one. We're all in this together. Treat them as your equal. Treat them like you would want to be talked to yourself. Swiss Gal and Free Spoke, don't know what that means. Thanks for liking my music. I appreciate you. Minnesota DBA filing. So what you, if I'm not mistaken, what you're trying to do is say you're doing business as your all capital name. You're if that's what you're talking about, the Minnesota rule, you're that really only deals with land. And second of all, you're just trying to doubly prove that your name is registered to do business. It's already registered to do business. You already own it. You don't have to like do that. You're just wasting your time. I bet cops pray. Aw. Yep, that's right. See, I mean, I've had cool people do me right. I've had family stab me in the back. I've had strangers give me stuff. I've had, you know, it's a mixed bag. You know, we're all just people, and a lot of us don't. We're taught wrong. A lot of us were abused when we grew up. Our parents abused us. They were taught wrong. Their parents abused them. It's hard to break that cycle. and we're all just people, and it's very easy to get morbid because we're not taught how all of these systems work. We're inside of a corporation that's inside of another corporation that's inside of another corporation that's trying to tax us and kill us, and it subconsciously and spiritually we're aware of it, but naturally and commercially we're walking around like zombies and not understanding why nothing seems right and it's off, and it can play a toll on a lot of people, man. It really can. We're eating garbage food. We're inhaling freaking chemtrails. We're being taxed, double, triple, quadruple taxed on our corporation because we don't know how to do business, because we're not taught it. We're not taught how to sign things. We're not taught how to eat properly. You know, and all this stuff adds up. Freaking Wi-Fi cell tower radiation on all our cells and our mind. Like it adds up, and it affects everybody in a bad way. Sorry, I'd be going off sometimes. It's just.
I'm so glad you're okay.
Thank you. Because at Amica, your coverage always comes.
I just got an interesting message. Appreciate it. Appreciate you wanting to meet me. 100. If I have a judgment against someone, can I do an indemnity bond? So be very careful about doing bonds. Now, every criminal court case, and I'm not sure about traffic and stuff, but it's probably the same. They all have bid bonds, performance bonds, and payment bonds. It's all about bonding. That's why you can bond out of jail. It's all about bonding and stuff. But when you start doing your own bonding, there's like 14 points on it that have to be exactly right. And if they're not right, the Treasury will flag a federal investigation on you, and then you don't want that. And I just finished my spring water, and now I have none to drink. I have a judgment against someone. Can I do it anymore? I thought I had something to do with becoming the age of majority. So, the only way to prove you're not a minor, according to the Treasury's codes, is you have to claim the securities in your minor estate, and the only way to do that is through the DTC that I know of. I think there's another way. I think there was one of my masters that could actually create bonds, but he ended up going to jail anyway. Oh my gosh. But it was for something else. Just running from let it rip. Thanks, appreciate the love. Have you seen ADT guy who in court claims disability? I have not heard that, but there's so many tricks. That's what I was saying in my video. It's so easy to just screw the public up. You really shouldn't do the stuff that I said in my Sovereign in Court 3. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't do that unless it's just you after all the sheep are gone. Like, I wouldn't do that with a line of people behind you. Like, that's not wise. And the judge will kind of get upset if there's people behind you and hearing you talk like this. It's best to, like I said, tell the judge, is it wise to handle public matters or private matters in the public like this? And you can start moving them to the private. Because the deception of registration, can I send them a huge bill for the unkept maintenance? Yeah, I've heard people trying to say that they aren't doing their fiduciary duties right and stuff like that. But you got to understand that the state is the beneficial title holder over your corporation, the U.S. citizen, and you're just the legal trustee in charge of all of its duty, fees, and obligations. It is a liability company. You can use it as a liability shield to protect you out there in the Sea of Commerce. You've been given a vessel to operate on the Seas of Commerce with. You have to know the rules of it. There's rules attached to it. The W-4 process. So I've heard about the W-4 sandwich. I haven't learned enough about that to understand. I have heard of people getting remedies through a W-4, but I am not very well versed in it. That's like a newer thing, I think, doing a W-4 sandwich. The best trust is a sovereign trust, trading in has the initial race or res property in it as gold or silver, which is like outside of that's international stuff. What can we do then? We can do whatever we want, sweetheart. We are free. Look, I can spin around. I could do the weekend at Bernie's right now. I could do the weekend at Bernie's. Like we can do whatever we want. We're the ultimate sovereigns on this world. You know what I'm saying? You can create your own trust if you want to use that to interface with the public. You can create your own government, your own court. You can create your own currency. You have the unlimited ability to contract. You can do whatever you want in this world. So I would suggest trying to like unlearn all this stuff if you want to binge watch some of my playlists on foundation, nature, spirit, and commerce. It'll help you kind of understand a little bit. I went off a little bit because of the vaccination. What's the word I'm looking for? The reactions to the vaccinations. What can I do? Reclaim my children's sovereignty. So the birth certificate is corporation. That's forever the states. What you can do is create a title, an affidavit of ownership over your children. Make sure you identify them very well. You know, footprint, DNA, eye color picture, similitude. It's a similitude. The picture isn't really you. Why is there Chinese on it? They're already taking that. I got Chinese writing on my YouTube now. I guess they're starting. The creditors are coming. Creditors of the U.S. bankrupt corporation are coming. Just say the corp citizen is your identical twin that died at birth. That's funny. You could just say you're the authorized representative, just like it says in the bank. Everything's about banking. And they use debtor-creditor language. I don't really like that. This slave master. We live with devils that are in control. Yeah, there's a lot of spirits that are in control and very high principalities and powers that are out there. Your phone was taken 2 months ago by cops. I was never arrested or charged. How do I get it back? Were you given... most of the time they have to give you a receipt because that's the actual title. So like when you purchase something from a corporation, you think you're getting the actual object, but what you're really getting is the receipt. The receipt is the title to that property. That's the true title to it. So if they took something from you, just like our birth certificate is an indemnity receipt. It is an indemnity bond according to the Libra Code. It's an issuance saying where they've taken property from you. You should have gotten it. If you didn't get a receipt, then it's going to be hard to come in there and make a claim. Unless you can put a geo-tracker on it or call it or something. Can I send them a huge bill? Oh, I think I already got that one. Sorry if I missed you guys, your questions. Like I said, I love you all. The Chinese are coming. I was shocked to look at my... That's new. It's all in Chinese now on my YouTube, and I've seen this. It's in my playlist. Like, it's never had it before. It's like... But they've also stepped up their freaking ad game a lot. W4 is a waste of time. Yeah, it might be. Like Myra was saying, they're still checking on them. Oh, I didn't mean to invite you again. I'm always inviting people on accident. You're not technically the property. You are tricked into being the trustee of a citizen of a corporation that has... Daggone, it's got so many liens on it. The U.S. citizen has a Social Security lien. It has thanks to the Obama health care, which is actually a lien to prevent the Chinese from coming here and collecting. It rolled over a debt, the bankruptcy. So it's got the health care, it's got the social, it's got the federal, and it's got the state. So that's one of the benefits of using that corporation is it has all of those liens on it when off the gate. Now you can create a trust and do business with that. They tax you higher, but it doesn't have all those liens on it. Unless you're doing nonprofit. Of course, they tell you straight up if you're doing nonprofit, you don't have to pay taxes. So if I lose my traffic court case, should I ask the judge if he's planning to assess? Yeah, they hit your bonds, and the easiest way to prove that they're using your birth certificate is when you get a birth certificate that has an issuance number on it, and it'll be like 16,483. If you get three of them back to back, they'll be sequential. It'll be 16,382, 6,383, 6,384. That'll be boom, boom, boom. Where did the other 16,300 go. Because these are all the public entities that grab that stock and trade it and monetize and bond it and lien it and use it against all of the bankrupt debts. Because I'm going to make a video on the true history of the U.S. because the states lost their sovereignty, then the people, and then the first it was the U.S., then it was the states, then it was the people, and now everything's just bankrupt. Yeah, I can lower the music down. Sorry, some of them are louder than others. Apologize. Somebody asked me to crank it up. I think it was some reggae music. We were jamming. Thank you. I am on other platforms. I'm on Telegram. I have a Flat Earth YouTube thing, but it's not really much of nothing. And the Telegram was created in case TikTok goes down, but then I realized if they say TikTok's illegal, they can most definitely say Telegram's illegal. The elites what now? The elites' secret societies. Yeah, true up, John K. Yep. Financial institutions, government entities, and big corporations slaving us all. We're not slaves. We're just not taught how to do business. Like there are societies and colleges and stuff that actually teach people the truth about how everything works, stuff that I'm trying to tell y'all and release y'all to, and it's just like any schooling and knowledge. It takes time. You look at a toddler, it takes them 4 years to start talking fluently. It took me 4 years to start talking like this, at least. But like I said, I've been doing it for 13. I don't know if... Oh, you're talking to somebody else. What can they do if you get a ticket and they never got your signature? So they'll act as a power of attorney and they'll just type your all-capital name, which is what they have the jurisdiction over. Sometimes they'll just give you a blank ticket that doesn't even have your signature on it, and you can say it's not proper service. There's so many ways when you start learning how the codes, public policies, and statutes that they are bound by actually work. You can trip them up real easy. Where do you recommend to start researching all this and how to properly operate the straw man? We've all been properly operating the straw man, let me tell you, because the way that is set up is that we work all day and they take 33% of everything we make to the creditors. It is revenued back to the creditors of the U.S. That's how it's set through a treasury in Puerto Rico through the IRS. So it's like everything's being funneled to the creditors. So we've been operating it properly. Now, if you want to operate a different vessel, that's up to you. Like I said, you can create your own courts, your own government. You can create your own currency. You can create your own stamps, your own shields and seals, and you can govern yourself, or it'll be done for you. It's your choice. So can you copyright your name on your birth certificate and then sue everybody? You can copyright your name, but the birth certificate is not true title and it's controlled by somebody else. It's not your property. Who's used your name for any reason for any paperwork? Yeah, you can copyright your name. And on my status video, I mentioned about Michael Jordan copywriting his name. You should watch that. So to join my group, you look up. I'm sure Queenie would love to try to help you join my Telegram group if she's still on here. It's Nature, Spirit, and Commerce. I just made it public. I have more subscribers now, so I know at least some of y'all are finding it. It was private before, and only the links that I could send out to people would get it. But now that I made it public, it's easier to search. But I only put one message on there, which was if TikTok goes down, I'll be here. And then who knows how long before they say it's illegal to post on Telegram. There's a lot of ways you can discharge your property tax bill. They would probably really love you to discharge it with Federal Reserve notes. I tried to grab my mouse to scroll through the screen. And I was going to download TikTok on my computer, but every time I downloaded it, it said it's spyware. It's spyware. And I was like, do I really want to download this? I was like, is the U.S. trying to say it's really spyware? Or I was like, is it really spyware? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't download it, but I'd love to use my mouse right then. yes, you can take me to traffic court, and whatever your all capital name is, I can say you may refer to me as whatever your name is, and that is in the capacity of. Judges like when you say that. And I haven't done a lot of these things I talk about in court. It's just people that I know that have done them and learned for years and years and watch other people what works and how to operate. How do you get... Ooh! See, sometimes I think jumps. How do you get... Where were you? How do you get them to recognize you're the highest authority? Through your actions, not your paperwork. Your paperwork is great to make a settlement, to settle, and close the account. It's best to do it in the private, but most people aren't ready to do that. It's for the public. You can do it in the public, and then you have to base the way you carry yourself. The judge is going to watch you, and he's going to watch and see if you know how to carry and act and hold your own. Or did you get paperwork from Johnny Q, jailhouse lawyer, that told you how to do something, and you just downloaded a template offline and paid $20 for, and thought that it was going to discharge the ticket? Government style manual is gold. They'll tell you like only vessels, tombstones, and other things can have capital letters. Yeah, but if you copyright the name in all caps and they're using that, you can sue. That's right. You can copyright your name. It's powerful. That is actually one of the only legit things that the secure party creditor taught me. The secure party creditor process. Out of the other 99% garbage. Who put it on the title? Who put what on the title? I don't get it. Who put what on the title or the birth certificate? When doing UCC3, to take over your MCO title, which option do you choose? Terminate. I thought a UCC3 was an addendum of property list for a UCC1. And I don't know why, if you can't take over your MCO once it is registered to the state. They burn it. They just like when they monetize your signature on a promissory note to a bank loan. They bundle it up and shred it, and then you can't get it back ever. Once a car is registered, it is forever controlled by them. The VIN number is registered and controlled by them forever. It's backing the debt of the U.S. You can get a duplicate copy of the MCO, MSO, but it's not the true title. It is true title to the car, but it previously first in line, first in time is registered to the state, who now holds controlling title, which is the same one that you have. But they got it first, and they've already done their marks and securities and exchanges and stuff on it. So first in time, first in line. How much is it? What? How much is what? It Kimberly. How do you differentiate yourself from a strongman? So, judges, it took me 13 years to figure this out, but you're not the U.S. citizen. I went through the secure party creditor process and did a lot of stuff. And like every patriot, when they start opening their eyes for the first time and seeing how the matrix works, there's a lot of different emotions, a lot of different things they go through. Well, I found out that I never was the U.S. citizen. It's just a corporation. It's one that you can use. You can dock it if you want. You don't have to use it. You can create your own. You can create a national corporation. You can use that one. You can create a sovereign trust. You can create a publicly owned trust. You can create an LLC. You can create your own government. Like you can. Every judge in America knows you're not a corporation. They try to trick you into admitting you're that corporation simply by saying you're the name. And you could say, if they say, John Q. Smith, are you here? You could say, how's that name styled or spelled? Is it in all capital? So you may refer to me as the authorized representative to that entity, and they'll kind of say, let's not infect the public with this stuff, because they don't want the public knowing this stuff. If we have children, we never register the births. You don't have to. You can register the birth so they can start doing business, but they're too young to start doing business. Once you register the birth, it creates a corporation that they start trading all over the world. So, if you want to give the banks that to run with, to back their fallacies, that's fine. Or you can create an affidavit of live birth and get true title over them and hold the controlling title over that child. Check your DM, please. I did. I thought I responded to you, buddy. I get a copy of my MSO. Yeah, it's no good. So once your car is registered, the only thing that you can ever take out of the jurisdiction of the state that was charged to hold all the collateral is land patents because they actually never had true title. So when you go back to the land patent from the king and get the original true title and basically tell them, they'll try to still tax you, and you can say, hey, no, I have the true title now, so remove it from your tax registry or I'm going to start charging you. Because of the deception registry. Still asking for mine. It's how to move my car into trust after I have tendered the payment. You can find a template online to create a trust, but if you don't have the MCO, the true title of it, you're just putting someone else's property into trust. How do you become a secured party creditor? What's the benefit? There is no benefit. It's just creditor, debtor. We're the ultimate creditors on all funding. We source, all funding comes from us. So banking terminology tries to say that we are creditor debtors, but really everything's in trust. So you want to learn trust law, not creditor debtor. And on UCC ones, you want to do non-UCCs, which are private, not public. If you ever do that, you don't have to do a UCC one, but it's a very powerful tool. Who put the name on the birth certificate? Your mom wrote it in lowercase, and they turned around when the corporation was created and put it in all capitals. Send them a huge bill. Okay. You pinned a question. I missed it, or a comment. Sorry guys. Legalese. How can I? Okay. Cool. Pay off the house and then you can go get the patent on it if you want, but then you can't use public services like utilities or the public benefit of paying taxes. You can't get trash picked up, water. You have to get your own water. It's best to do subsistence farming, and then you can't use police or fire department or ambulance and stuff like that. All those public benefits that come with paying taxes. I suggest reading Weiss's Concise Trustee Handbook. As a Man Thinketh, you can, depending on if you want to be sovereign, you can look up stuff about being sovereign, like government contract law book to learn how governments contract with each other. You can look up, what else can you do? Treaties, learn how to do treaties and make your own seals and wax stamps and put stamps on papers to give it monetary value. If they change the spelling on the BC, how is it legal? Because it legal doesn't. There's a difference between legal and lawful. First of all, legal means that's cool. I see the pin thing. Legal, it doesn't matter if it's right or not. It matters what it says per letter. It's not the spirit. Lawful is spiritual and righteous and equity and stuff like that. So you write your name, and all corporations are spelled in all capital letters. That's just how it is in their system. They can't. We've had people try to go to banks and try to force them to put the letters in lowercase, and the system won't allow them. It's just not how it works. It's all freaking smoke and mirrors. You can stop it. My head's, hold on, what? Did I see my head's what? My head is numb. Sorry, yeah, I'm trying to help everybody. And you're just researching someone to do this. Yeah, please watch my playlist. It should help answer a lot of questions, to try to help you understand what's at play between us. You've had solar for 6 years. What does that mean? Oh, solar. Yeah, heck yeah, cool. That's good. Awesome. I have some solar panel. I wish I'd have gone solar. I got a freaking. I talked to a bunch of people and ended up getting an inline natural gas for my generator, and then when all these cyber attacks were about to happen, I was like, crap, what if they hit the gas company? I was like, why didn't I go solar? I was like, I really wish I'd have gone solar. A lot of contractors kind of talked me out of it, but I really wish I would have gone solar just in case. Cool. If you don't have a social security number, you were probably given some other type of ITIN, tax identification number. I don't know what you mean, what you can do. You can do a lot when you have a tax ID number. You can, you know, it's every entity needs a name and articles of corporations and EIN, insurance, and proof that it's registered to do business in good standing. That's good. If you got no public service, then you're ready. You're ready to get your land patent and start living. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, if I'm hurting y'all's brains. If you become a naturalized citizen, you are the equivalent as a U.S. citizen. You can do all the benefits and privileges that a U.S. citizen. Just like if a U.S. citizen authenticates their birth certificate and moves to Japan or Texas, or not Texas, but Turkey or Egypt. They're moving corporations. So do you suggest still paying property tax to get the public service? No, I suggest if you're going to get the land patent, to contract with each service provider individually. What book? There's a lot of books. It depends on what you want to read. Legal is applied, laws are expressed. So law is lawful. Lawful is the spirit and truth and honorable and equity. Legal is blind, dead. Like people think, oh, it's not legal for them to take our kids. Yeah, it's legal. It's not lawful. But they can legally, because of the way titles and claims and due process and stuff works in their fake system, they can do it. What do we do with the baby deed? I have never heard about a baby deed. You talking about the affidavit of ownership or title of ownership of the baby? You can hold on to it. You can record a copy of it in a county recorder's office. You can put it in a safe. Yeah, me neither. I don't know anybody that's patented their land either. I know people that... What's up, dude? How you doing? I know people that have started the process or started learning about it, but... What is the proof to do business in good standing exactly? When you have a Secretary of State's registration number, letter, Duns and Bradstreet and stuff like that, all this stuff is proof of good standings to do business in whatever corporation you're in. Is it tough operating without the certificate of live birth in the public? No. You can, like I say, you can create a trust. Propane gas tank. What in the world? So how are they allowed to do that? Spelling the name. Yeah. Already went back there. State Nationals rock. Yeah, the State Nationals rock. I started trying Gwen. Gwen was the one I was getting ready to stitch my first video about, because the way she was teaching people, they were going to get hurt. And in fact, a couple of videos later, she's dealing with cops where she's trying to go after their bonds and stuff. Like they don't know what they're doing. They definitely don't know how to travel. So I would not suggest taking any traveling information from David Straight, especially since he just got arrested for traveling. He obviously doesn't know the proper way to do it. YouTube, legal person, lawful person. Yep, explains a lot. I believe it. Hey, I'm doing good, man. How are you? Give us an example of how to record a notice. You can record notices in the county recorder's office. Is a good way to do it. We are the trustees of our own trust. You can be the trust. You can be the grantor, the trustee, and one of the beneficiaries. You can't be all three parties, or it's not a trust. There has to be at least two parties. One person can be either both the grantor and the trustee, or the grantor and the beneficiary. That's usually what a lot of people want to do, is be the grantor and the beneficiary and make somebody else the trustee. But right now, we are the trustees and one of the beneficiaries of our corporation. It is a benefit and privilege to use that corporation that was given to us. You have... I do not have a driver's license. The state has a driver's license that was issued to an enemy. I didn't hear about that. Yeah, I heard David Straight got arrested for driving. I just found that out. I didn't file a notice of subrogation. I put a status declaration out on the world and created a treaty amongst all nations to let them know that I am at peace and in love and not in battle and in harmony, and wanted to let them know that I am not an enemy, and I respect their codes and ordinances, but I'm not bound by them. Should a third party be the trustee like a lawyer or something? You can make anybody the trustee. They don't have to accept that position, but you can appoint, as the grantor, you are the author of the contract when it comes to trust. Thank you. I appreciate you appreciating me. I appreciate you appreciating me. Respect. Love that. What are your recommendations for assigning a trustee if you don't have a family you trust? You can appoint anybody as a trustee. You can appoint the Secretary of Treasury. You can appoint a police officer. You can appoint a judge. You can appoint yourself as the trustee. If you don't trust anybody, appoint yourself as a trustee and accept it. Don't deny it. Accept it. Where did you file that notice of peace? So my ultimate treaty of peace was sent out to the world after I'd done a private administrative process, and then I basically kept that, but created an affidavit of record. So after I had done my process with the world, I put an affidavit of facts and said, this is what happened, this, and recorded that in a county, certified out, and now I have a exception to the hearsay rule, proof of document of what I had done and created with the earth that I can enforce anywhere I want. One who seeks equity must come with clean hands. A good way to start a notice. That's right. Yeah, my status declaration started off with love is all law. All law. Always at peace. How does a straw man come into play in trust law? Because the straw man is charged with the trustee's duties and responsibilities to the beneficiary, who is the state, who holds true title to everything, including the money we use. Well, it's really private, copywritten to private families, but is Walmart self-checkout a commercial offer? The exchange and interaction of anything is commerce. Like, if you like the way I'm moving my hand, that's commerce. If you like the way I'm talking to you, that's commerce. If you're grabbing products and moving them through a line, it's absolutely commerce. It is the exchange and movement and guidelines of those exchanges. That's commerce, commercial law. What if the lawyer removed himself as trustee and then started writing the checks? So all right, that's really, I don't know what the heck about the checks, but if the lawyer removed himself and he breached his duties, a trust cannot fail for a lack of trustee. So when a trust is established, it still exists even if there is no trustee. Now, if someone has breached their duties and started to infringe rights and start doing that, you can come after him, especially if he's done damages. Appoint your LLC as a trustee when operating private. That's right, you can do that. I am in Virginia, Eastern Standard Time. Yes, a religious assembly is good. A religious assembly is a good way to govern yourself. The best way to start learning how trusts operate is Weiss's Concise Trustee Handbook. An unrebutted affidavit stands as truth. But even according to court rules, an affidavit is hearsay because anything done out in the public is considered hearsay. I did UCC 1 for the vehicle finance company. I was told next step at UC3, take form to DMV to get MCO. You can get the MCO. You can go through. There's an MCO process. You can go online to get the MCO, but it doesn't matter because it's already been registered and collateralized against the bankrupt U.S. Debt. It's owned. That VIN number is forever registered to the state as property. How would a government interpret love is all law? It doesn't matter how they interpret it. The concept of love. That's not all my document said. It just started off basically saying love is all law because I wanted to know that is That's how I operate. That's my government. That's how I go out in the world. Love your neighbor as yourself. Self-law and master on Instagram. Cool. That's awesome. Love and appreciation. Vibration. Hold on, we getting wild now. Hold on. I know everything's vibrating, but that's just all I saw was vibration and it left. Oh, appreciate your vibration, brother. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you. You're welcome. Follow the host. Isn't commerce dealing with taxes and exchanging goods, services? Commerce is the exchange of anything of value. Anything. Words, sex, intercourse, money, paper, thoughts, energy, vibration, electricity, light, almost everything. That's why commerce tries to play as a god. Mammon, I think is one name for him. But really, the commerce can't do anything without our natural or spiritual body. And she never did anything that the will said to and never registered. To the courts that she was a trustee. Do you have a list of books I can get to start with? Depends on what you want to do. Learn how to do treaties. If you're trying to self-govern, if you're trying to learn, it just depends on what you're trying to do. I don't know. Yep. So you got Admiralty law, Admiralty maritime law. You got law of spirit and equity, and you got common law of the earth, land. Who you trying to sue? Is this the lawyer that started writing checks against their duties, or am I mixing stuff up? Yeah, meaning a straw man is okay. So if we can't get the MCO for our cars, can we file a notice of equitable interest? You already have an equitable interest in it, but the equitable title is held by the state. Like, you can sell it. What I mean by that is you can sell the car and you can get money for it, but it's and the beneficiary will allow you to do that. It's that's a benefit that you can have. No, I'm trying to get the money back that you sold from the trust that I was a beneficiary of. Okay. Yeah, I would definitely go after that. Commerce can't do nothing without your energy. Yes, true energy. Can they take your home and property? So it's not your home. It's everything you register to the state belongs to them forever. In any case law, when fraud is proven, does the defendant get funds? Not necessarily. You have to claim what the monetary damages were when you were harmed. I do not have my MCO because the car that I had $25,000 cash in my pocket, and I could have gotten one, but I wanted a car that keeps, for my kids, it keeps you in the lines and like speeds up and like slows down. And so I ended up getting like a bank loan for like 10 grand. Took the benefit, lost the MCO, and now I pay taxes on it, and it kind of sucks. But I could have. But if I had the cash, I know how to operate. As soon as I have the money, aka $35,000, $45,000 cash, to get a car, true title, I'm on it. Trust me, I'm on it. Just I got really hurt during COVID because I got fired for not taking the vaccination, and it cost me a couple $100,000 in lost revenue, and set me back a little bit. MCO is a manufacturer's statement of origin. MCO, MSO, manufacturer's certificate of origin. So how do I purchase a home? The state doesn't have true title of your property. They're operating under color of law, with colorable title. That's why you can get the true land patent from them, from the king, and you have to do lineage all the way back on whoever it was granted to, and make sure nobody living under that entity's line has it, or wherever it dropped off, and they started doing colorable title on it. Yeah, lineal title is They took allodial title in 1933 when the U.S. went bankrupt. They didn't allow anybody to hold true title or anything. They split title. They split title between the state and you, and that's why it's trust law. Everything's in trust law. All right, guys. I think I'm getting ready to wrap up. Yeah, you don't want to travel without plates. You want to put plates that are really close to the municipality that you're traveling in, and give notice that you're going to be traveling around. Do we have to claim the warranty deed first? I can tag you in a video if you're interested in getting the land patent on your property. You just have to DM me and remind me. All right, guys, it was fun. Hope you learned some stuff. DM me if you need any help. Talk to y'all later.